Hey guys, welcome back to the Wood and Metal Workshop. I'm Kent, and we're getting going today on a project that I've been planning for a while. I'm going to build a cart for our Tig and our plasma cutter. So right here, we're just getting started on cutting our steel. This is the saw that was in last week's video that we tuned up and brought back to life, fixed a few things on it. So just measure, cut, repeat. This is the first real project that we've used this saw on, so we're still getting used to its settings and setting it up. Here we're drilling the channel that we just cut for a caster mounts. You'll see why we're using channel here in a little bit. All right, getting the first frame set up here. Nice having that 2-inch lip around the table. You can see here I didn't think ahead and had to remove a clamp to get the square in there. So we use the Lincoln SP250 to do our welding today. It's my go-to for thicker metals. I have the 210 MP, which works great. I have that set up for sheet metal at the moment. So I just get everything clamped and squared and tacked together. Then we'll go ahead and finish weld it after we've got everything solidly tacked together. Didn't have the 45 set exactly right on the saw, so I've got a little bit of gap there that we need to fill. Nice thing about working with metal instead of wood, you can do that kind of stuff without compromising your project. There, we got everything welded up. I'm gonna take the grinder and flap disc and just smooth everything out. What do they say? A grinder makes me a better welder. In this case, it's cosmetic. I needed to remove the beads so everything would fit together in the final product. Had to have a flush surface. Here we're putting in the main brace. This is going to support the upright that holds the shelves and the tank. I'm gonna fully weld this in because it also keeps that angle stiffer. It keeps it from rolling if you get too much weight on it. Here we're starting on the casters, and you'll see why here in just a second. There's the reason we put the use the channel instead of a piece of flat plate to mount the casters to, because we wanted the casters to be outboard to give the cart more stability. Now we're gonna level up the cart. The table that we're building off of is as level as we can make it with the leveling screws. So it allows us to use a level to set things up. And here we're gonna get the measurement for the wheel approximate. Now we're got some 3/4 inch round bar that we need to make an axle out of. We're gonna take the end of this down to just under 5/8 of an inch, which is the nominal for the wheels. A quick little facing cut here, and then we'll go ahead and trim it down to size. I didn't get a whole lot of lathe video for you. There's card filled up and I didn't notice it. So there, I'm just going to mark my 3 inches so I know where to stop the cut. Still getting used to this lathe. It's new to us. We've only had it for about 6-7 months. So haven't had a whole lot of projects to use it on yet, but we're getting there. So there it's all cut. I think we finished out around 6:15 or so. Wheel spins just fine. We're going to get set up on the cart so we can get our final measurements. Off camera, I went ahead and made some bushings that you can see there that the axle fits through. Decided to go that route. And once again, the camera missed that cutting. So then just some 1.5 by 1/4 inch flat bar to make the brackets. Get that all welded in. Have a nice solid support for our axle. A couple of washers and slide the wheels on and flip it over and see that yes, it rolls and it's fairly level. So here we're just putting one of the caps on to hold that wheel onto the axle. We're just doing one right now because we're going to want the axle to come off. Now we're getting lined up for our main upright that will support our shelves and give our tank something place to chain off to. Got it tacked in. I was just getting it squared up, and Colton came in and started talking to me, and I got it welded in before I got it perfectly plumbed. Here we're making the first of 2 shelving units. I got the saw a little more aligned, so our joints are a little bit better on this one. Now we're marking out for where the first shelf's going to go. That's going to hold the plasma cutter. Let's get it tacked and then fully welded in. Nice thing about this is I'm able to roll it around and get all my welds in a flat position. So no overhead welding, no fancy stuff. Can avoid vertical welds too. So that's always kind of nice. I always prefer welding in the flat position. So those bars just support the shelf and give us a place. It also holds the sides of the drawer unit so they can't slide off the side there. Got the second shelf getting positioned, clean the tip on the gun, and just get that welded in. Here we're getting some measurements for that upper shelf. Got the shelf aligned and take another measurement. There's the bar cut out. It's just a 1/8 inch by 1.5 inch flat stock. 2 equal bends, and we'll bend the other one and kind of put it in there, get it clamped, and use a crescent wrench to twist it around to finish forming it to shape. Just rinse and repeat on the other side there. Don't need a whole lot of support on this shelf. It's just holding a TIG welder. It's not like it's hundreds of pounds. So I got some tread plate there on the back to set the tank on. Now we're going to bend a strap around the tank and kind of true it up on the anvil there and mark it out, and then we'll get that cut to size. There we go. I'm just going to center it and tack it in position. Once again, don't need a lot of weld material here. It's just keeping the bottom of the tank from kicking out if you hit a bump or something. Just extra precaution. There, we're putting the tank chains on. These are just some leftover chains with hooks that I had sitting in the drawer and came off a trailer that I rebuilt. Here we're going ahead and cutting sanded metal for the shelf, and I trimmed it out outside to approximate shape with the Lennox Metal Max blade, which I've really fallen in love with, and brought it into the bandsaw. It makes a really nice, clean, quick work of this. Here you can see I'm welding it in, and I'm hitting every single contact point. And the reason behind that isn't for strength, it's to keep those edges from popping up and catching on something. So there's quick little tack welds, the full length of whatever is exposed there, and then we'll take the flap wheel and just quick grind to get any rough edges off. Right, put the rear axle on here and put the tire on and give it a little test roll. All right, now we're gonna start making some of the accessories that go on here. First thing is going to be a little holder for the TIG pedal. Just making this out of some 20 or 22 gauge sheet metal. There it is, all cut out. Just take the burrs off, and now we'll go over the vise and bend it over. And there it is, all set up to trial fit. And then we're going to bend the tabs out to mount it to the cart with. There we go. Got it clamped on the cart. Just giving it a trial run to make sure that it works, which it does. So we can go ahead and move on to the next step. Here we're just going to mark out some bits of strap that we're going to turn into brackets to hold the welders in place so they don't slip off. And here we're just going to clamp all 4 of them together, marked once, drilled, and switch to a 29/64 drill bit, which is what I had handy because I had used it for the bushings on the axle. Once again, drilling all 4 at once just to make it easy. Here we're going to give them a quick grind, give them a little radius on the corners, use those over so nothing to get caught on and scratched on. And once again, doing them all 4 at once makes it easy. So I just clear up the drilled holes. Here we're making the start of our TIG rod holders. Just tacking some pipe into a piece of angle, and then here we're tacking some pipe onto a piece of flat. Quick little deburr just to make sure that no sharp edges poking out there, and get it mounted up on the cart. Get this first one welded in, and we'll put the cart up on the table so we can line up the second one. Those are some PVC tubes with caps on one end, glued on one end to hold our welding rods. Here you can see us putting those little brackets that we made on. It's got the hole in there so we can put a strap across the top of the welder to hold it to the shelf. Doing the second side, just measure it out and marked and put them in place. All right, getting the torch set up here. We're gonna heat up some 3/8 inch rod and throw them in our bending jig and bend them around into hooks. I made that when we did the cart mashup for the hooks on that. So always keep those jigs around. They're a little close up heating the rod, and it took about probably just a little over a minute to heat each rod. And there we go, bend it around the jig. All right, marking out for where the hooks are going to go on one side. Just set it on the mark, clamp it in place, get it square and by eye, and tack one side, take the clamp off, weld the other side, and repeat. And I made room on this side for 5 hooks seem to work out pretty good. Over on the other side here, we're just going to have 1 hook because just planning on hanging the lead for the TIG pedal on this side. So there, I'm just screwing in the TIG pedal holder. The second screw here I broke. You'll be able to see me reaching there with a pair of pliers and finish unscrewing it through the back side to clear the hole, and then I can just drive a new screw back into that same hole. Little test with the TIG pedal there. Yep, it works. Okay. Slide the drawers in. Need to set up the back here. Just got a couple little pieces of angle to catch the back of the drawer unit and get that tacked in and both sides, and then we'll move the drawers out of the way and just finish weld around those, and that step is all done there. The handle. So use some 1-inch rebar to make the handle for the cart. I wanted something beefy, and I kind of like the ridges on the rebar. Gives you a little bit of a grip on the handle if you need it, and just kind of looks cool. So, but bending even hot 1-inch rebar is not really easy. So I'll just give it a little twist there to tweak it to get it straight, and then I used a couple of clamps to set my height, and I'd done a back chamfer on here, and I'll just weld the bottom half, and then after I get it down off the table, I'll finish weld the top half of the handle there. A little test run, make sure everything fits, and we don't need that we didn't miss anything and didn't want to add anything else before we get set up for paint. There we go. We're just wiping it down with some acetone, and once we get it cleaned up, I missed it here, but I went ahead and blew it off with the air gun. And now we're hitting with some Rust-Oleum Rust Red primer, followed by Hammer Tone Green, which is our unofficial shop color. So, kind of a color that I like. And some of my equipment came factory that way. The Grizzly table saw and stuff is pretty much the same color. So finish this out, make sure I get everything as well as we can. There you can see it. Got the chains hung up, and we're getting a second coat. Now that's dried up, we've gone ahead and taped it up, and now we're hitting it with some John Deere yellow for the parts that stick out, all the hooks, the handle, the casters. There we go. It's all done and set up. Well, guys, thanks for watching. As usual, please hit the like, thumbs up button. Leave a comment if you have any comments for us, and please hit the subscribe button. Catch you in the next video.